Made it back. Sunday update. Dev. Okay, the progress that has been made this week is being significant. So, like I said, I've been working on a bunch of projects simultaneously. They have a bunch of interesting ideas, but nothing that is solid enough to make an entire statement. So you start thinking, okay, do I need to make a bunch of EPs? Do I need to make a bunch of, put them all together into one place? Because there's literally 4 or 5, I guess, ideas. But what I'm starting to recognize is that one of them is really me right now. I don't have a name for it yet, and although I'm still working on Power Nerd and Moth and Dream Piece and all these things, there's one sort of axolotl thing that has been sneaking up, and it has a real specific vibe, and it's exciting because there's like a solid aesthetic that I can stick to. It's this kind of alien, clean Atmos. This guitar that I built with Kiesel is amazing for it, and like the whole thing has this weird kind of organic alien thing going on that is actually very inspiring. As of today, it's been very inspiring. So I think that what has been also helpful is I've been having opportunities to jam with people that I know and that I work with. And then I'm able to sort of play things for them and then sit back and say, okay, what do you think of this? And isn't it funny how when you're playing things for people that you know, it's like you're able to hear it through their ears in a way. So you get an objective point of view on the work just by having somebody that you trust in the room. You can listen to it with somebody there and just be like, oh, this is too long. This is too complicated. This doesn't make as much sense as I thought it did, or what have you. But what was really exciting over the past couple of days is having some of my teammates participate in the music and then sort of confirm thoughts that I had had about what parts of it were really cool. I think because of the puzzle, when that came out, overwhelmingly, people didn't seem to gel with it, and it sort of derailed me for a bit because there was a lot there that I wanted to pursue. Maybe not that aesthetic, maybe not that vibe, maybe not that chaotic, dirty thing that puzzle was, but the way that that was written, and I've said it before, was really, really important to me. Because there seemed to be this whole world of things that I could do by pursuing that, but I guess I kind of shied away from it, and then went to light work based on maybe a certain degree of fear, where I thought, okay, well, I don't want to ostracize people completely by pursuing these things, but what I'm starting to recognize now is that there is something that I'm doing that I really want to pursue. And it's loop-based, and it's not the same sort of delayed thing that I've done in the past. It's like heavy guitars are an accent. My voice provides like a tether to what has happened in the past with it, I guess, with my work. But it's almost like I hear a different voice for the singing. Like, just like an alien voice or something. I know, this is crazy. But I've been really inspired today, actually. And I'm starting to get a sense through all the chaotic work that has been done. There's just been so much I've been recording. And there's only been a few things that sort of scratch the itch, but up to this point I've thought I shouldn't pursue that. For whatever reason. I shouldn't pursue that because it's too weird, or it's too out there, or it's too far removed from the things that I've done in the past. But then you start thinking, Well, if you're gonna fail at something, you might as well fail at it wholeheartedly, and don't skirt around it. Just do what it is that you feel compelled to do, and then let the chips fall where they may. That being said, I'm doing the Power Nerd record simultaneously, because that's easy. It's like I've been doing that sound for a long time, and I still really like it, and I still think that there's aspects of that I never really fully articulated. The more stripped back, more simple kind of echoey rock thing that I do. But simultaneous to the Power Nerd thing, because it has to be done by the end of May, I'm really going to focus on this axolotl thing. It seems like of all, we're doing a reissue of Terria on vinyl, and by having to do the liner notes for Terria, I realized that perhaps the frame of mind that I found myself in now is more similar to that than I recognized. At the time, I had done Physicist, and it was it didn't turn out the way that I had hoped. As the lore has gone for Physicist, I ended up accidentally erasing 3/4 of the recording, and then I had to redo it, and so I redid it without much zeal. And so when Physicist came out, I was kind of left cold by the experience and the result. And so when I went into do Terria, there was this sense that I was doing something very much for myself. There was no parameters for that seemed to be in the way of just seeing where I was at very clearly. And some records you're able to do that, and other ones you don't see yourself that clearly. Terry, I saw myself very clearly. Empath, I think I saw myself fairly clearly. And it seems like the axolotl thing is much more where I'm at than I realized. And it's got a very particular color. It's got this desert thing going on, and it's like these weird shapes. It's, again, it was like this guitar that I had worked on was really based on a lot of this sort of alien sounding loop-based stuff that I was doing. And so when I start putting all these pieces together, Fractal sent this FM9 that I made a patch on it with a bypass filter, a bandpass filter that sweeps through the frequencies. So if I've got a really long echo going, you can basically just play one passage, and that bandpass will slowly filter through that and then feed that to another echo, and it just creates this really otherworldly atmosphere. And just over the past couple of days, I played all this stuff. I played Moth stuff to people. I played Power Nerd stuff to people. And what it seems like the reaction is people hear the Moth material and they're like, oh yeah, that's like big, epic, scary, orchestral, like intensity. It's very dark and very big. I play Power Nerd and people are like, and these are people that I know and care about, they're like, oh fuck yeah, that's great, that's rocking, that's to the point, it's got a really great attention to the simplicity in the chorus and the heavy guitar sound and like big drums and like no bullshit. And then the Dream Piece thing, of course, I've just been doing that on the side, but I also realized that Dream Piece and the style that is starting to infiltrate into the axolotl stuff. Whereas I've got this sort of alien loop-based, clean, Atmos, abstract, stream of conscious color that then the Dream Piece sounds, which I've been, I'll be playing in the morning, I'll just unmute it on the board, whatever it was that I was jamming in the morning, and then that gets added to these axolotl riffs, and then it's this combination of this strange alien thing that's kind of chill, kind of quirky, kind of abstract, but then it has this blanket of ambience over it that's calming and very beige colored. So I think that there's a direction now. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to schedule my workload so that I can make these things all happen in the background while I'm working on others. So I had an animator come so that I could start to do the storyboard of the Moth to 3 sort of significant pieces of the Moth. And so by being able to offshore that animation, I know that the Moth can proceed and I can focus on other things. And because the Moth is so intense and because it's so orchestrally dense and difficult, and like it sticks with you conceptually too, it's not an easy project. By knowing that that's proceeding in the background, I can then move on to other things. And then with the Power Nerd stuff, I realize how much of that material I've accumulated over the past few years. And so I've got the drums being recorded 22nd and 23rd with 3 days of rehearsal of March. And then I've got people coming up next week to work on the axolotl stuff. I've got Mike Keneally doing keyboards and a bunch of abstract stuff for various projects, and then Morgan comes up and I record stuff for Axolotl with him, as well as Casualties. And Che has been, her and I have been working on the Casualties stuff, so that's sort of going in the background. And then the Power Nerd stuff, because I've got so much of it, I don't really have to work on the arrangements of it as much as just like set it up so that it's sonically really cool, and then I get the right vocal sound. Been working with Roswell with microphones to get a real, like, the perfect vocal sound for me. But during all that time, I just keep working on this weird axolotl thing, and it's only as of today, I think, that I was able to bounce it off of a few people whom I know, that they were like, oh, that sounds exactly like where you are right now. And it's like I didn't see the forest for the trees. So the last update I had sort of said, that we're on the starting pad where we're lifting off. But now we're definitely lifted off. So with the Ruby Quaker, that's progressed too, that Ruby Quaker is a character now. So the spaceship is an actual character. And the idea is that you are going to this different place and you're stuck with this character, and the character is just, you never know what sort of personality it's going to have. So I'm able to improvise in the spaceship and then take those and then flesh them out and then illustrate how those things come across with the aesthetics of that particular episode with the Ruby Quaker show. So the first episode of that, we start filming it next week, and we've built a model, and I started thinking that the character shouldn't be as much like Battlestar Galactica type spaceship, but more almost like a Pokemon. It should be this sort of endearing character with a personality, and so that I interact with it every time we do an episode. And I know it's a lot, and I know it maybe comes across as more convoluted today than it has in the past, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I get it. Oh, this is great. So until next week, wish me luck, because I got a ton of people, one after the other, and it's like full speed ahead now. And I'm in love with this guitar too. It's like crazy. It's, I think your subconscious works in ways that you don't realize. And while we were designing this Neo guitar for the Dream Piece stuff, I didn't realize that it's hand in hand with the axolotl thing, and that's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm actually having fun now, and I'm like super grateful. So, it's been a couple of years of me sort of talking and building and doing all these things that seem like, there's not a lot of tangible evidence of the progress on a on a musical front. Like I haven't put out too much. I haven't done a lot of online things or what have you. But man, has there been a lot in the works. And now that it's starting to come together, it's really working. And I'm like really, really psyched on it. Really psyched on it. Especially this axolotl thing. Who knows? Thank you for paying attention. And I will see you next week. And I hope your project's going well. And yeah, excited. See ya.